September is usually one of the quieter months in the LEGO calendar. January's enormous, June's enormous, August and March are getting more enormous each year, but September is normally when our bank accounts get a little bit of time to recover. Not this year, because we've got the return of LEGO SpongeBob SquarePants, another massive Star Trek set, a new Batmobile, a brand new spooky LEGO collection, Shrek minifigures, the start of LEGO Avengers Doomsday, 5 advent calendars because apparently it's Christmas already, and in case all that wasn't enough, we've also got a £400 Harry Potter set. In this video, we're going to be going through every LEGO set releasing in September 2026, how much they cost, which ones I think are worth picking up, and most importantly, which ones I'm actually going to buy. And yes, before anybody gets in the comments, I know technically a couple of these are coming out on the 29th of August, but they're Harry Potter sets that LEGO have clearly shuffled forward by 3 days so they can launch with the opening weekend of Back to Hogwarts. So I'm counting them. It's my video, my rules. And that's where we're going to start. The big September Harry Potter release is set 76476, the Ministry of Magic Collector's Edition. This is 3,491 pieces, costs $389.99 and is available early to LEGO insiders from the 29th of August before the full release on the 1st of September. And it's enormous. It's 51 centimetres tall, 35 centimetres wide, and somehow only 15 centimetres deep, which I actually think is quite a good thing because I really like these massive Harry Potter sets, but once you've got Gringotts, Diagon Alley, Hogwarts Castle, Hogsmeade, and everything else LEGO have made over the years, eventually the bigger problem isn't the price, it's where on earth you're supposed to put them. And at least this one is fairly shallow, so it's going to fit nicely on a shelf. You get 3 different levels of the Ministry with scenes based on both Order of the Phoenix and Deathly Hallows. You've got the Muggle London section at the top, complete with the red telephone box. You've got Arthur Weasley's office, Umbridge's office, the Hall of Prophecy, the courtroom, the fireplaces. There's even a mechanism where you can flush a minifigure down the toilets and into the Ministry, which is the kind of feature that makes much more sense if you've actually seen Harry Potter, I imagine. There are 14 minifigures included: Harry, Ron, Hermione, Dumbledore, Voldemort, Umbridge, and a load more, plus an exclusive Link's Patronus for the 25th anniversary of the first Harry Potter film. And I have to admit, having finally built the big Gringotts set during our 24-hour charity live stream, I'm much more interested in this than I probably would have been a few weeks ago, because Gringotts was brilliant. The problem is, it's also absolutely enormous. So am I going to spend another £390 on another enormous Harry Potter set? Probably not immediately, but I do definitely want to see it in person. And if you are planning on picking it up, there's a very good reason to do it straight away. From the 29th of August until the 6th of September, LEGO are running the Back to Hogwarts promotion. And if you're an Insiders member buying the Ministry of Magic, you get an exclusive Ministry of Magic phone booth gift with purchase. There's also the Ministry Munchies and Daily Profit Stands gift with purchase when you spend enough on Harry Potter more generally. So if you're buying the Ministry anyway, don't buy it on a random Tuesday in October. Get all your free stuff. That's basically the first rule of buying expensive LEGO. And if £390 is slightly more than you were planning on spending on LEGO Harry Potter sets this month, which I imagine does apply to most normal human beings, there's also set 40975, the Mini Hogwarts Castle. This is 700 pieces and just $34.99. And this one actually does release on the 29th of August for everybody. And I really like this. We've obviously had loads of different versions of Hogwarts over the years, but this one gives you the Great Hall, the main tower, the East Wing, the Astronomy Tower, all in a model that's only 17 centimetres wide. There's even a Chamber of Secrets hidden underneath the East Wing, and you get Harry flying over the castle with Hedwig for £35. I think this might be one of the easiest recommendations of the entire month. It's a nice little display model, it's recognisably Hogwarts, it doesn't take over your entire house, and most importantly, it's not £390. Now, moving on to the actual 1st of September releases, and SpongeBob SquarePants is finally back in LEGO. Set 11386, SpongeBob SquarePants Bikini Bottom is 1,794 pieces, $189.99, and it's the first proper SpongeBob LEGO set we've had in a very long time. You get SpongeBob's pineapple, Squidward's house, Patrick's rock, and a little section of jellyfish fields. And the really nice thing is that these aren't just facades. They've actually got interiors as well. SpongeBob's house has his living room and bedroom. Squidward gets a living room, bedroom, bathroom, and even a rooftop lounge. And Patrick's rock has an interior as well. You get minifigures of SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward, plus Gary and Doodle Bob. There's also the Boatmobile, Squidward's clarinet, and loads of little references to the show. And the whole thing is 54 centimetres wide, so it's quite substantial as well. And I think if you are a SpongeBob fan, it looks fantastic. Even I'm tempted, and I've never even seen the show. My one issue is I'm not completely convinced it's a £190 set. For me, it's probably one to treat the same way as I did the Twilight house and the Stranger Things house, by not buying it at launch because I don't care about the IP, but at some point it'll be cheap and I'll swoop and get one because it looks like a fun Lego set. But if you have been waiting however many years for LEGO SpongeBob to come back, I imagine this is pretty much exactly what you wanted them to make, even if it is just more millennial nostalgia bait from LEGO. There are going to be loads of people in their 20s and 30s who grew up with SpongeBob, haven't bought a SpongeBob toy for 15 years, and are suddenly going to find themselves £190 poorer on the 1st of September. LEGO have mastered the art of milking us millennials dry at this point, and frankly, I think they have a lot more to answer for when it comes to not owning houses or having pensions than avocado toast or Starbucks. There's also a SpongeBob BrickHeadz coming out on the same day, set 40858. It's 72 pieces, $10.99, and this might be the most perfectly suited character to BrickHeadz they've ever done. He's already square. They barely had to change anything. So if you want some Lego SpongeBob in your life but can't quite justify spending £190 on Bikini Bottom, there's your slightly more sensible option. And then next up, we've got the second big Lego Star Trek set, which is kind of a big deal for the Trekkies, because I think when they released the Enterprise last year, there was always the question of whether that was going to be a one-off. Well, apparently not. Set 11385 is the USS Enterprise NCC 1701 bridge. And yes, it has exactly 1,701 pieces. It costs $159.99, releases on the 1st of September, which is also the month of Star Wars' 60th anniversary. You get the bridge itself, plus the transporter room and 8 minifigures: Kirk, Spock, Uhura, Sulu, Bones, Chekhov, Chapel, and Scotty. You also get 4 tribbles. I do not know what a tribble is, or if that's a sensible quantity of them. And there's a few interactive features as well. The captain's chair rocks, there's a dial on the transporter, and the turbo lift doors open. Plus there's an entirely new Lego element that they're using on the phasers. And believe it or not, I've never actually seen Star Trek, so this probably isn't one that I'm going to buy, but I do really like that LEGO are doing it, because the Enterprise could easily have been a one-and-done licensing deal, whereas now this feels like Star Trek might actually be becoming a proper ongoing LEGO theme. And if you're a Star Trek fan, presumably that's very good news. I also think this is exactly the kind of set that could fit nicely into the Sit Complex, the fantastic rebrickable mock from Brick Artisan that we've got in the city. And I'm always in favour of being able to add new floors to that. One that I am going to have to spend some money on though is set 76355. It's the Batman Returns Batmobile, 2,269 pieces, $189.99. LEGO Insiders can get this from the 1st of September with the full release on the 4th. And this is based on the Batmobile from the 1992 Batman Returns film, which means it's the Michael Keaton Batmobile, which means I'm exactly the correct age for this to work on me. This thing is 45 centimetres long, and it includes a new Batman minifigure with a newly moulded cowl and cape. And the really cool bit is the transformation. You press a button and the sides of the Batmobile drop away to reveal the Batmissile escape vehicle. And apparently this is the first LEGO Batmobile that's ever included that feature. They've even created 3 new LEGO elements specifically for this model and that transformation mechanism. Now, I don't need another Batmobile. Nobody needs another Batmobile. LEGO have made approximately 700 Batmobiles, and this is the 5th one they've released in 2026 alone. I built a remote control tumbler on stream about 2 weeks ago, and yet, look at it. This is the problem. This is how they get away with constantly making Batmobiles, because Batman has so many different versions of the car that you can look at one and say, well, technically, I don't have that Batmobile, and that's just dangerous. And there's also a second little Batman release this month as well, 40859 Golden Age Superman and Batman BrickHeadz. This is 218 pieces for $22.99, and these are based on the original Golden Age versions of the characters, so Superman and Batman as they appeared right back at the very beginning. And because 2026 is the 20th anniversary of LEGO Batman, there's a little gold element hidden inside Batman to commemorate that. And ultimately, they're BrickHeadz. You know how I feel about BrickHeadz. I like looking at them, I like owning them, and unlike most of LEGO, they're cheap. So BrickHeadz will always be awesome. Then we have one of the most interesting releases of the month, not necessarily because of this individual set, but because of what it could become. Set 11383 is Mare Manor, 1,420 pieces for $99.99, and this is the first set in a brand new LEGO Icons collection called Midnight Valley. The idea here is you get spooky, crooked, slightly supernatural buildings, basically Winter Village, but it's Halloween, hopefully with the same annual release cycle. Mare Manor itself has this deliberately wonky two-story design with the tree growing into the side of it, a gothic interior, armour, fireplace, grandfather clock, and 3 minifigures with glow-in-the-dark heads, which is all excellent. But the important bit is that LEGO are calling this a collection. This isn't just a random Halloween set, it's the beginning of something, and this is where my brain immediately starts thinking about the LEGO City, because if we're going to get one of these every year, what does Midnight Valley look like in 3 years, 5 years? Do we end up with an entire spooky little village? Because if we do, I'm absolutely going to want a spooky little village in my LEGO City. That's just inevitable. And also, for those of you who like to invest in LEGO sets, go look up how much the first Winter Village or Fairground Collection or modular sets are worth now. I know it makes me a monster, but I think there's a good chance I'm buying 2 of these just in case. And also, $99.99 for 1,420 pieces in 2026 almost feels weirdly reasonable, which probably says more about LEGO prices than it does about this set. But I really like it. I think it's different. I think the minifigures are great, and I'm very interested to see where this collection goes long term. I've already got this pre-ordered. I'm very excited for it. And then we have what might be the most dangerous release of the month for anybody with a completionist problem. Shrek minifigures. Set 71053. They're £3.49 each, 12 characters to collect. Although LEGO's own product description currently has more than 12 names on it, because Fiona and Donkey are being bundled together because Donkey is a moulded animal rather than a minifigure. So your full list is Shrek, Fiona and Donkey, Pinocchio, Gingy, Dragon, Puss in Boots, Thelonious, Big Bad Wolf, Merlin, Lord Farquaad, Fairy Godmother, and Prince Charming. And these are brilliant. I think Shrek is one of those licenses that works incredibly well as minifigures because there are so many recognisable characters. Obviously, I want Shrek, I want Donkey, I want Puss in Boots, I want Gingy, Lord Farquaad, Fiona. And then once you've got like 5 or 6 of them, you're collecting the whole set, aren't you? That's how collectible minifigures work, and that's why we get like 5 series of these a year. You don't get to 8 and think, that's enough Shrek for me for now, I think. So yeah, I am probably going to end up with all of these, probably multiple copies of all of them, and they are going to inevitably start appearing around the LEGO City, because nothing says realistic city layout quite like Lord Farquaad waiting for the tram. And then this next one is a weird one for me, because set 43026 is the Nike Air Force One set. 1,093 pieces, $89.99. And I've worn Air Force Ones for years. So if LEGO sat down in a meeting and tried to design a shoe set specifically to get money out of me, they have basically nailed the brief. It's a brick-built Air Force One mounted on a rocket blast display stand with a moon surface underneath it. There's also a LEGO Spaceman in Nike gear, and if you turn a dial, the Spaceman does a 360 dunk. The set itself is 35 centimetres wide, so it is a pretty substantial display piece, and I still don't really know about it. I like Air Force Ones. I like LEGO, therefore you would assume I'd like a LEGO Air Force One. But I'm still not completely sold on the whole Nike collaboration. I really don't love having a giant corporate logo branding all over my Lego shelf. I had the same problem with the Dunk that came out last year, was it? And I think £90 is quite a lot for something that ultimately is a Lego shoe with an advert next to it. But I am absolutely the target audience, so I suspect there's a reasonable chance I end up buying it anyway. And I am very much still waiting for Lego Jordans. Make them, and I probably do have a problem. Next up is set 43024, the Ayrton Senna Helmet. This is 931 pieces. $79.99, and also coming out on the 1st of September. And this recreates Senna's iconic yellow, green and blue helmet and includes printed sponsor logos. At least for the sponsors they can print on a toy in 2026, plus a display plaque and an Ayrton Senna minifigure. And the minifigure itself is really cool. He's wearing a t-shirt with Seninha on it, the cartoon character that Senna himself created to inspire children in Brazil. And there's also a little mini version of his helmet. I'm not really a Formula One collector, so I don't think this one is for me, but as a display piece, I do completely get it. Senna's helmet is one of those designs that you recognise even if you're not massively into Formula One, and I think Lego have captured it really well. Plus, $79.99 does feel about where these Lego helmets should be priced, so if you're a Senna fan, I suspect this is going to be really hard to resist, and even for me, as someone who enjoyed F1 in the 90s but hasn't watched since, if I'm ever going to get one of these helmets, it will be this one. We've also got one more BrickHeadz set, 40919 Gremlins, Gizmo and Stripe figures, 230 pieces, $19.99, and Gizmo I think works really well as a BrickHeadz character, and Stripe looks appropriately horrifying. They're Gremlins, it's 20 quid. There's not really a huge amount to say about it. If you're a Gremlins fan, I imagine you've already decided whether you're buying them or not, and if you're not a Gremlins fan, obviously don't buy them. And then we arrive at the bit where Lego remind us that it's September, which obviously means Christmas. All 5 of this year's Lego Advent calendars release on the 1st of September. We've got City and Friends at $22.99 each, and then the licensed ones, Disney Princesses, Marvel and Star Wars at $29.99 each. We're not going to go into each one individually here because I should have my annual Advent calendar review video out within a week or so, but it is interesting that we're only getting 5 this year rather than the 6 we got last year. And they've managed to avoid a price increase on last year, which is super. It's also worth noting that for the last couple of years, these have been available in Costco at launch on significant discounts. So maybe hold fire on buying them from Lego directly on release day. My 1st of September release day video will include me checking Costco to see which advent calendars they've got in this year. And then finally, Doomsday is coming. Set 76345, the Doctor Doom bust. 379 pieces, $44.99. And this is the first Lego set based directly on the upcoming Avengers Doomsday movie. So although it's quite a small release on its own, it's effectively the start of Lego's Doomsday range. The bust has a movable neck and jaw, a foil hood and cape, and comes with a Doctor Doom minifigure that you can display alongside it. And crucially, Lego specifically says this recreates Doctor Doom's appearance from the Avengers Doomsday movie. So this is our first proper Lego look at the character from the film. And then next month, things escalate because October is when the actual Avengers Doomsday sets start arriving. So consider this your warning shot. The next few months could get expensive if you're a Marvel collector. And that is September. And despite this supposedly being one of the quieter Lego release months, there is quite a lot here. For me, I think the Shrek minifigures are just inevitable. Mayor Manor, I've already ordered because I really want to see where this Midnight Valley collection goes. Mini Hogwarts is really tempting, $34.99. The Batman Returns Batmobile is one of those sets that I absolutely don't need, but unfortunately, it looks really cool and I'm definitely going to buy. And then the Air Force One is specifically designed to test my self-control. But I have a feeling SpongeBob might be the big one here because although $189.99 is a lot of money, Bikini Bottom does look fantastic. And I suspect that's going to be one of the most popular Lego sets of the autumn. Just maybe not for me at full price. But let me know down in the comments which September sets you're planning to pick up. Are you spending £390 on the Ministry of Magic? Are you starting a Midnight Valley collection? Are you going hunting for all 12 Shrek minifigures? Or are you looking at the entire list and just thinking, Nope. Still not financially recovered from August yet, which is completely reasonable, by the way. And of course, if you want to see what I actually end up buying, building and adding to the new studio in Lego City, make sure you subscribe, because September is apparently going to be busier than I thought it was going to be. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Toodle pip.